So the first time someone meets me, I do a nutrition assessment with them where it is basically an hour-long session that, I get to know about them and their nutrition history. So yes, it can talk about weight, but it also talks about their symptom history, when they started using eating disorder symptoms, if they have an eating disorder, and just their history of how often, periods of time maybe they were not using symptoms. I just go into depth about, what their journey has been. I also try to get a sense of a typical 24-hour food intake. So what a usual day of eating is like for them. And then we talk a little bit about their medical history, if they've been to the doctor recently, if they're being followed by anyone. We talk also about the emotional part of the eating disorders and how they relate to their specific behaviors. Sometimes people may not be, in tune with this, but that's okay. I also ask about their therapy history, if they have a therapist, and if so, for how long, or possibly any other treatment history. And then we usually end with setting some broad goals about what they want to get from treatment, and then possibly making a more specific goal that they can work on until the next time I meet with them. Because food is such a social thing, in terms of even if it's eating with your family or eating with your friends, if a person's not able to engage in some of those social experiences that include food, that could be a warning sign. Obviously, weight loss, or more of an extreme weight loss to a point that they're not at a healthy weight, is a sign. A typical thing with bulimia is going to the bathroom after meals where they could be purging. Um, if they're using exercise to purge and they're really overdoing it on the exercise, if the exercise is getting in the way of other things in their life, whether it's schoolwork or other social things, and they're not able to do those things, that's a warning sign. Anorexia nervosa is when someone is restricting, they have an intense fear of becoming fat or seeing themselves as fat. They often lose their period if they have dropped their body weight to a really low percentage. Bulimia nervosa is when someone is engaging in binging and purging behaviors. So binging is consuming a lot of food in a small amount of time. There is no specific definition of exactly what a binge is. That can be subjective. But purging can be done in a few different ways. So it could either be vomiting, it could be taking laxatives, it could be over exercising. Sometimes with bulimia, they also compensate by restricting after a binge purge. Binge eating disorder is when someone is engaging in binges but not using the purging as a compensatory mechanism. Sometimes, and more recently, I'd say maybe in the last 10 years, there's a combination of a bunch of these going on, or some people may have disordered eating, but not necessarily fit the diagnostic criteria for all of the specific eating disorders. I do have recommendations of places that I've worked with in the past that I would always give them names, but ultimately it comes down to, where they would like to go. It really depends. I do have some people that I've been seeing for years, and it's not that they're necessarily in the same place that they were, but they may be checking in with me a lot less frequently just to kind of make sure, they're on the right track. Um, but it's hard to kind of give a definitive answer on that one because everyone comes to me in a different place in their journey. And, there are some people who may end what I would think is prematurely because maybe they're not at the right place where they feel like they can do the nutrition work. I start off once a week, with the goal of decreasing the treatment to every other week. And then, like I said, even less frequent. But when they're starting off, it's always good to get a base in terms of trying to develop also a relationship with them so that they feel comfortable with me. So usually once a week in the beginning.